going to go a lot lower, the stock market, because earnings for these companies are going to collapse. Obviously, the unemployment is skyrocketing. Citibank just announced 50,000 layoffs. The auto industry is going to collapse. I'm not in favor of bailing out the auto industry. I think it's a farce. Unemployment is going to go to 10, 11, 12% at a minimum. And, the earnings are going to collapse. So these companies are going to trade down. The average yield in a bear market gets to 6 or 7%, which means you're talking 3,000 on the Dow Jones.
Doesn't look good. I want to jam in a few calls. The interview's almost over. Time just flies because I promised to play these highlights of the amazing Kashkari committee hearings last Friday. But I want to go to Mike, David, Kevin, Daniel, Rob. Guys, just ask one question of Kaiser quickly, please, because I want to get you on. Mike in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Only one question,
Go ahead.
Only one question, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Anyway, let me pick my best one.
Just ask them all if we're going to spend time to figuring out which one to ask. Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that, Alex.
No, don't be sorry. I'm sorry I don't have enough time. Okay. Hell, I'll just skip playing the clips. We'll play them tomorrow. We got plenty of time. Go ahead.
Yeah, just sit back and hear the question.
All right, well, with the fires occurring in California and all these people losing their homes and whatnot, will their insurance companies be able to cover them?
Oh, no. I mean, in the short term, perhaps. But look, the insurance companies are part and parcel with this global credit crunch. They're running out of money. Even Warren Buffett, his stock is down 50% this year. He's a big insurance.
Look,
player.
What happened is they took the cop tuitions, the police, the teacher, retirement funds. It was all invested in derivatives. The bankers stole it all. Okay?
Yeah, or, the thing is that if in fact, by some stroke of luck, you do get some insurance money on this disaster, your rates are going to be skyrocketed the next quarter, so you won't be able to afford insurance anymore going forward. Just like in Katrina disaster, everyone can't afford flood insurance in New Orleans anymore. The rates were jacked up. So the rates for insurance are going to go a lot higher with every single one of these disasters. So the insurance industry, which is the backbone of capitalism, is going out of business.
Yeah, look, down the road, folks, you're not getting your Social Security, you're not getting your insurance. All you're getting is a forced labor camp unless we throw these people out. Mike, anything else?
Yes, okay, I guess I'll ask this question for you because I want to try to squeeze in some for both. For you, Alex, do you think that it would be easy for the police state to confiscate guns from people as it was for them in New Orleans?
No, because they had and listen, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the call, Mike. You can call back later with other calls if you want tomorrow or so. That was an isolated incident. They had the cover of the disaster to do it. It was a beta test, a laboratory test, to see if they could do it and how it would sell the public. It didn't go well for them. They're just going to do stuff like turn the money off, let everybody riot, then the public will beg to turn their guns in. Max Kaiser?
Yeah, agreed. I have an idea for America, okay? Start a new 12-step program. It's called Goldman Sachs Anonymous. Everyone gets together in a church basement, and they go the 12 steps of Goldman Sachs Anonymous, that we are powerless over Goldman Sachs. Now, it sounds a bit glib, but on the other hand, it's a way for people to reach out to their neighbor, because one thing that's going to get people through this crisis is it's going to be neighbor to neighbor. So get to know your neighbors, get to know the people around you, and because that's going to be key to your survival, I think. And, it could bring people together, unfortunately, in a crisis, but generally that's what happens.
Absolutely. Let's go to one more caller here. David in Michigan, you're on the air with Max Kaiser.
Hey, great discussion, guys. One question, I'll be brief with it. Because China owns so much of our treasury bills and because the trade deficit is so high, what role do you think that China is going to play in this post-economic meltdown? I mean, Alex, you know as well as I do that this country is New World Order's dream. They'd love to run every country like this. So, I mean, after it's all said and done and the dust settles, are we going to be, slaves to the Chinese empire?
I think this is going to hurt the Chinese as well, and I think they're going to have their hands full there. Most economists say if China ever gets down to 7% unemployment, they'd melt down, or if their growth drops to 6%, they're dead meat. Max Kaiser?
Who took the Bank of China public 2 years ago in the biggest IPO in the history of the world?
Tell us.
Answer, Goldman Sachs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Goldman Sachs, Hank Paulson is there. He made something like 14 trips to China during this last year at Goldman Sachs. He is completely in China's pocket.
That's right. He was the Goldman Sachs guy. That was his first big job there decades ago, was Goldman Sachs' minion in China.
his first big job was he was working for Richard Nixon in Washington. And he was definitely with China. They've got that huge IPO, and I think that China has said that they're transitioning out of dollars into gold as well. They have to be careful because they
well, Cheney got out of dollars 2 years ago. I mean, everybody's moving to Dubai, I guess. Why is Dubai, Max, the place to be for the elites?
No extradition law.
There goes your answer. We're going to talk behind scenes just for the internet audience and then let Max Kaiser go because I've got to air at least most of this 30 minutes, and tomorrow I'll air more and comment on it, but I promised I had people come in and edit this 4 hours down to 30 minutes, so that is coming up. So we appreciate Max Kaiser joining us, maxkaiser.com. That's it for the full interview. We'll talk for 4 minutes behind the scenes and come out with the audio clip. Here we go. Okay, Max, again, let's take a few more calls here. Kevin in New York. Kevin, you're on the air with Max Kaiser. Go ahead. Come on, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Earth to Kevin.
Yes.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
This is with regards to the conversation that you had with Salente a little earlier ago, and how the government is consolidating and the is a command and control type thing. And I'd just like to reference that in terms of a new article by Naomi Klein in Rolling Stone in the New Choff. And she refers to the Bank of New York Mellon as being the kind of general contractor for the bailout. So, just two images here. One is that the government is consolidating the corporations, and the other is that the corporations are consolidating or privatizing the government. And your comments, and I'll take them off air.
It's just a mass raping. I mean, government, corporations at the top, it's all one animal, and it's just total booty. It's total just grabbing, stealing, gobbling, laughing, giggling. It's just Nero-esque insanity. Max Kaiser?
Well, it's balance sheet consolidation. For example, when Bear Stearns blew up, the fact is that Bear Stearns wasn't the problem case. J.P. Morgan was the problem. J.P. Morgan had unbelievable amounts of derivative contracts with no counterparty able to satisfy. And so what they did was they blew up Bear Stearns to get rid of the counterparty that could make claims against J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan assassinated Bear Stearns for their own good. That company was assassinated.
That's what a lot of experts...
You see a lot of this consolidation of balance sheets in the banking industry. So Bank A goes to Bank B and says, oh, we've got these risks, you've got those risks, these assets. When I was working on Wall Street, we used to do a thing called swapping dead books. So if I'm a broker and I'm working at one brokerage firm and I've blown up a lot of customers, I can go across the street to the broker of the other brokerage firm who's blown up a lot of customers, and we swap each other's blown-up customers. Then I call up his blown-up customers, and I say, hey, I got a great stock tip for you. I already know his name, his brokerage account, his social security number, and I know what stocks he's owned, and I know how much he's lost. And I can just put into my pitch, well, I think you can make X amount of money, and I hope you didn't buy this other stock last year. That was last year's loser. And then meanwhile, this broker who I swapped dead books is doing the same thing at his firm. So now you're seeing banks do that with each other. They're swapping each other's dead clients and dead bonds for fees, and it's just another chapter in this huge Ponzi scheme.
And the government's going to come out and scalp the public to feed it to the bankers who sit there like 800-pound children gobbling our society. Daniel in Texas, last caller for Max Kaiser. These callers are really taking their time today. Daniel, go ahead.
They're in shock.
Yes. I would like to ask Mike Kaiser, why is the guys trying to destroy the middle class and at the same time trying to give us this massive superhighway? Who's going to be buying all the goods that they ship in?
Well, after they consolidate everything, they'll start the economy back over again, and they want to tax all the roads, and those will be multinational corridors. Mr. Kaiser?
Right. The toll booths on those roads are not going to be owned by Americans. Americans spent generations building an infrastructure, roads, bridges, and tunnels, and they should get the fees on the toll booths. But those toll booths are being sold to our foreign creditors in China.
Yep. Hey, we're out of time, Daniel, and I'm sorry to Rob and George and everybody else. Call back. Next time Kaiser's on, you'll go to the head of the line. Max Kaiser, maxkaiser.com. I want to really thank you for having me on the show, and you've got my office number or Trey's email if you want me on that 28th. And if I can't make it for that, or if you can't have me on, then I'll be glad to come on to the second one or whatever. And thanks for spending time with us, Max.
Thanks, Alex. Great show.
Appreciate you coming on. MaxKaiser.com. Take care. All right, there goes Max Kaiser from Paris, where my wife wants to move, where we never will move. But all right, here we go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go for this segment for the rest of the show with 30 minutes. We may not even get to all of this. You know, I really should just play this tomorrow and then stop and comment on it, but because there's so many facets to it. But this is Kashkari being grilled. This is only 30 minutes of 4 hours of the hearings last Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to play some more of this in the end of it and then comment more on it. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen, so stay with us.
Now, I